Okay, explanation in 3, 2, 1. All right, I had a meeting with my Dallas area housekeeping manager and territory manager this week, and I had some ideas, and her response kind of threw me for a loop. So I'm asking you hosts for your feedback for the betterment of Airbnb kind. All of you, I'm sure you all can benefit from this, and I'd like your feedback on this idea. And to catch all you newbies up, there's something you need to know. You make more money than just if somebody books on Airbnb if you do this right. There are ways to make extra money, like you could put a bottle of wine out and charge for a bottle of wine or charge for little extras. And there are hosts who make a great living on having these extras in their home, kind of like a menu. So I'm trying to accomplish a change at scale with our business. You know, doing anything with more than 50 properties is a lot of work. So I want to do 2 things. I want to find a way to make all of our properties feel more like home. And I also want to justify the amount of time that our cleaners need to spend inside of single homes to do their cleanings. Of course, housekeeping is the main central point of running an Airbnb operation. And there's key bottlenecks, right? Like linens and logistics driving between properties can take time. These things just take time. So I want to fully utilize our housekeepers to the max. So I came to her with some ideas on how we can accomplish this. And I'm not going to go into detail on 2 points. There will be 2 future videos. One is going to be about how to make your place feel more like home. And the other one will be about an inventory control system that I've come up with. And I think you'll love that too. So, but you need good inventory control to do any of these ideas. So take that with a grain of salt. So I come to her with this little book, and I'm like, here's what we should do to run our Airbnb business, right? And so I start talking about things that do feel like home inside of an Airbnb space. For example, water bottles don't feel as much like home as opposed to, say, like a Brita water filter in the fridge. So my belief is you should have a water filter in the fridge that you pour into a glass as opposed to having a water bottle, because it just feels more like home. So things like this are things that I want to work more towards. And so I made a list of all the things we should have in our space that feels more like home. And I had the idea to start stocking more non-perishables, because more non-perishables would mean that when you open up a cabinet, it doesn't look as barren, right? And I think a lot of us, when we're at a new Airbnb property, especially one that's economy priced, you'll open up the drawers and you'll see cups and plates, but the cabinet maybe has very few spices and really not much going on. And God forbid the cleaners leave like bags and packets of ketchup in the cabinets and don't clean appropriately. We've experienced that before, and we turn that ship around. So the last thing you want is to open up a disheveled cabinet full of nothing valuable, just like chaos, right? So these are things we're trying to work through. So in this train of thought, I tell her we should have a free shelf and we should have a premium shelf, right? Where, you know, there's going to be things like, I was like, we can have like bulk rice and beans and noodles and things that people can have. And on another shelf, there can be things that aren't so cheap that they can pay for. And that's when she like started to turn red and side eye me. And she's like, no, do not do this. You're going to ruin everything. We have a hard enough time running our business as it is. Managing inventory for like 20 different items inside of one home is going to be chaos. And I think she's right? So there's enough to track inside of a home where if you just add wine, right? You have a wine that you put out. If somebody opens the wine, you charge them for it. And you could have like 2 or 3 main items, and this will be easy for housekeepers to go in, check those items. And if they've been opened, you bill the Airbnb guest for it. And of course that goes kind of in your resolution process just the same. But if you have tons of stuff, like how do you control your inventory with 20, 30 items? You're running like a little like mini convenience store inside of your Airbnb property. So this is where I would love your guys' feedback. If you are going to have 3 items or maybe up to 5 items max in your Airbnb home that you are going to charge a guest for, I would love for you all to tell stories about your success in charging people for items that they can have when they arrive. And then what are some things that you just leave out for free that kind of cost money and you expect them to disappear, but you give them for free anyway, kind of as like a lost leader approach. Those are the 2 things I want to talk about here. What should you give away for free that makes it worth it, even though out of 100 reservations, maybe only 5 people really appreciate the free stuff. So your cost is like 20x of what it should be. And then what do you charge for? What 3 or 5 items would you choose if you could not really control a good wide inventory? I would love your feedback on that. Hey, Elite Accidental is starting their first listing this week. Congratulations. To all of you who are just jamming on this channel, by the way, I keep seeing you to the right here. I need to learn to read the comments more. You guys are crushing it. You guys are so crushing it. I get the opportunity to talk to so many of you about your businesses, and it's crazy to think just how quickly some of you, I see your guys' names, right? I read the comments. And so I have a few favorites, and I'm not going to say who, but you guys have been here from the beginning, and there's some newbies here, and you guys have jammed all the content in 2 days. You went out and picked up an apartment a few days later. Some of you are only a couple weeks old on this channel, and you have property already. So all of you guys are awesome. I don't want to get off topic though. So in the comments, pretty please, for the sake of all of our Airbnb hosts on this channel, let's leave some best practices. I'm going to try to contribute myself. So with that, thank you all. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you on the other side. And of course, got to hit end. There we go.